All right, today we will be recording The Lies That Summon the Night by Tessonja Odette. So today I'll be doing my review a little differently. Firstly, and pretty much the main thing, is that I will be making this a spoiler-free review so that people who haven't read the book, which I assume will be most people, can actually enjoy the whole review instead of only enjoying the first 5 seconds where I give it a rating out of 5 and then I'm like, okay, it's spoilers time, and then they're like, oh fuck, gotta click off. There's no point in that. If I want to share my review, like, why would I? No one's gonna watch it. So we're going with a spoiler-free review. Hopefully this turns out nice. It's still interesting, right? And secondly, and I don't know if this is better or worse, I feel like it's making me more nervous, but I've actually written down notes because I realize I sometimes go on a tangent or I don't remember important things, like the city that the book was based in, which was the problem with my last book review. Apologies for that. So we're gonna go on a few. I have notes here, right? So anytime that I look down, I'm looking at my notes. I'm not just wandering, looking about, right? There's a reason. But anyway, and lastly, I'm not gonna hold the book the whole time, right? Because I feel like it makes me look like an idiot, So I'm gonna hold the book at the beginning and I'll show it to you at the end again, okay? So we all remember what it looks like. But for now, this is the book. Now let's get started. So, The Lies That Summon the Night. This is the first book in the Song from the Sinless series. So this book came out earlier this year. The second book will come out next year. Okay? And then the premise is that on this continent, art is considered a sin. So anyone who does any kind of art, right? Anything artistic, singing, like, for example, a seamstress, which is the FMC's kind of job in this book. You know, you would think that that's an art form, right? Like making clothes, designing clothes. But they have for example, they have like really specific patterns that they follow. If they kind of add an extra sequin here or like use a different color, then it's considered a sin, right? Sins are bad because they attract shades. And shades are shadows that linger in darkness. And if you do any kind of art form, they're attracted to that. And if they're attracted to that and they come near you and you kind of piss them off or, you know, kind of, irritate them, they're going to eat you, like, right? Nice and quick. Maybe not even nice and quick, but nice for them, right? And that's not good, right? So Inanna, who is our FMC, she has previously done some crimes. The one she kind of talks about quite openly is that she essentially did what I just mentioned. As a seamstress, she made a bit too bold of a pattern, and then they were like, you're trouble, miss. And then they kind of sold her to this guy who owns a bar. And in this bar, he buys all these kind of, outlaws, essentially, people who do crimes that no one really wants. He buys these people and makes them perform what they got arrested for, right? In this case, her being a seamstress for something really fancy. And also she's been arrested previously for storytelling. So she got arrested for that as well, right? So she has to perform that in a bar for the sinless. I'm saying a lot of random words. This book has 5 to 10 pages of definitions and explanations because there's a lot of law here. And I've never had that before. So flicking back and forth was a pain. But once you do it I honestly just don't do what I did. I just went straight in the book and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Take 10 minutes to just read the first few pages of definitions and then you'll be a lot better off. But anyway, I'll still explain to you. Sinless are essentially people who have gone through the ritual of getting rid of their entire soul so that they are absolved of any sin in the past, and then they can't sin in the future either. But even though they can't perform art, they can still watch it, right? So even though they're like, oh, it's wrong, they're like, okay, let me just do a bit of a cheeky, and then just watch it anyway, right? Because it's not a sin because they're not performing it. They're just witnessing it. So that's our FMC. Our MMC, so Dominique, he he doesn't really hire, pretty much just buys it off the bar owner. He buys Inanna and 2 other outlaws to help him in his duties as a shadowbane. Again, a fun definition. A shadowbane is someone who, this is so random, but only gets rid of half their soul. So they're not sinless, but they're like on the way. And and pretty much their role is to go and hunt shadows, right? Sorry, go and hunt shades. And if they do a good enough job, then they have an opportunity to become sinless. So get rid of the other half. And also sinless people, they are immortal. So he has a chance to be immortal too. So that's the premise, right? Now talking about the FMC. Talking about the FMC and MMCs and if I like them or not. Originally, I did not like the FMC. She was so like, I'm so quirky, I'm so cool. Because she was like, art's really bad, but I love it. I love the thrill. I love the edge it gives me. And I'm like, all right, girls, enough of that. And she mentioned like every second page. I'm like, I get it. You love the thrill. You like to put people's like lives in danger, right? Like I was just like calm down, man. It's not that cool. Like she really just relished in being super reckless. And I was just like, okay, that's enough of that hooliganism, right? But like once she got taken by Dominique, she like mellowed down a bit. She was still a bit reckless here and there, but she actually ended up being like a bit of a normal person, right? So it was nice. And the MMC, so Dominique, it's him and his 3 like shadows that are attached to him. One of them being a dog, which is fantastic. I love animal sidekicks that can talk because they're always so like witty and cute and just like, aw. And like this dog was, witty and cute and aw. But Dominique, I actually loved him. I thought he was really great. He was like, obviously, I don't think it's advertised as enemies to lover, but you kind of get the vibe when you read the back and like the blurb. It's not enemies to lover, right? Like they look at each other and they're both attracted to each other from the get-go, but she's like, I hate Shadowborns. I hate the Sinless. I hate them all. And I'm like, all right, girl, you think he's like the bee's knees, okay? Obviously don't hate him that much. But the good thing is she isn't helpless and he isn't one of those super like, she looks at some guy or guy looks at her and he's like, all right, both of their eyes are going. No one can be looking at anyone but me. Like I can only look at her. She can't look at anyone else. He's a lot more like calm down, right? And I think it's their age. Like they say that she's in her late 20s and he's like in his 30s. So these are like mature characters. So they act as maturely as they can being in a world where like shadows can come and like hum you up, right? Like they're doing the best they can. But Dominique is really, like I love his character. As I said, he's really cool. He's very serious and very closed off, but I guess the relationship between him, Inanna, and the other 2 people, right? It's not like he's going to become besties with them. He does open up later on, and he's a very good person. It's just like the way, like, he has a role, and the role just doesn't make him come off as a great person. But him himself is a very good person. His shadows are hilarious. They give fantastic comic relief, which is always needed in these kind of books. Like I hate it when the side characters are just like useless. Like what's the point of them? They just only have the 2 bloody characters. But the side characters, which is the Harlot and Bard, those are kind of the names they go by. They're great. They're really fun. Harlot is really, really funny. She's like this really young girl, and then Bard is like an older man. So it's like diversity in ages. It's lovely, right? And then there's Dom's sidekick as well. He's great. He's funny. He's flirty. And yeah, it's just a great time, honestly, with all the characters. It's not like, because this is the first book, it does end on a bit of a cliffhanger. So it's not like all the like people band together and they're like, yeah, let's go. But that's okay because it's only book 1. You never know. They might band together later on. But so we've talked about the characters, talked about the premise. It is a medium-paced book. It's just under 300 pages long. So it's not like super, super short by any means. But this is a romantasy book. I love romantasy books, as you can see. Compared to most romantasy books, like the next one that I'm going to start reading is 700 pages long. This one is great. But it doesn't like skip out on details. Like it's still really detailed, but it doesn't bang on. It's not like, oh, here's this tree that's here for like 10 million years and its one leaf is green, this leaf is brown. Like, no, it just kind of gets to the chase, gives enough detail, and then moves on, which is fabulous, right? Mystery aspect, I didn't think this had, like, much mystery until, because I was like, oh, like, they've already kind of told us the premise, like, he has an end goal of trying to become sinless, and using these 3 outlaws who he calls summoners because they help summon the shades. Oh my god, not shadows, shades with their art. But like, then he's going to become sinless. Like, that's not very exciting. But there actually is a massive plot twist, which I did not see coming. And fantastic. Absolutely mind-blowing. It does end on that cliffhanger a little bit, but which is really sad because when I found when they disclosed the plot twist, I was like, why is there 10 pages of this book left? Oh my god, no. Right? But that's okay because that means the next book will be very exciting. And then, lastly, the spice. So I give this there were two spice scenes, sex scenes essentially, in this book. So I would give it maybe a 3 out of 5. It's still spicy, but it's more towards the last third of the book. But I feel like the spice was well deserved. They built it up so nicely. They were both, Inanna and Dom were flirty, not as soon as they met, right? As soon as, because he took her against her will kind of vibe. So it wasn't like she was going to be like, oh my god, he's so handsome, they start flirting with him. No. They were on the road for a little bit and then they started getting into a bit of flirty banter. And it was actually good banter. It wasn't cringy. It wasn't weird. It was very natural. And the side characters also helped with that flirt, right? Because they kind of egged them on. It was just a good time. I feel like this book was very the characters that she wrote, they were very realistic as you can be with bloody shadows and sinless people and whatnot. But that's what I loved about this book. All the characters were believable. As I said, at the beginning, Inanna pissed me off, and even towards the end, she was still kind of reckless, but it was because she was pushed by extreme emotions. She didn't just wake up and was like, all right, I'm gonna head out now. She was pushed to do that, right? Something happened. So it makes sense. So overall, I would rate this book a 4 out of 5. I think it was a really, really, really good book. I didn't give it a 5 out of 5 because, I don't know, it didn't just really take me all the way, right? Sometimes there's just no way you can really explain it. Nothing really bad happened that made me nick a point. It was just yeah. That's it. I don't know what I was gonna continue on with something. But yeah, anyway, so this was the book. And I hope you enjoyed my review. Let me know in the comments if you like this style or if you just prefer me going off the cuff. I tried my best to write things down so it looked like I was coming from a place of research and not just taking things from the out of the air and being yeah, let me just talk about it. I try to make it a bit more methodical, but let me know. See you guys. Bye.